go wrong with a Friday.
I know.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us here on Business by Design Online, which is a for women, by women online resource for everything you need to start, grow, and support through your business career path. And I'm Katie Sevenance, and I am so excited because this is designed to help showcase you. What are you doing out in the world? What are you doing to change the lives of those people around you? So we want to feature women in business. And today I'm so excited to introduce you to my friend Lisa Gustafson, who is a career transition coach. Would you say? Is that how you say that?
Yeah, and really taking ownership of your future. And first of all, thank you. I want to say thank you to Joy, Katie, and Phoenix for inviting me on this Feature Friday, and by learning about your business too, right? Business by Design.
It's pretty exciting. And we just felt that there was a need for a one-stop complete resource. You can go here and get information on one topic. You can go here and get information on another. But we want it to be an all-encompassing, not only educational, supportive environment, but also showcasing other women and what they're doing. So we're so excited to have you as our guest today.
Yes.
And you are doing amazing things. And I know it's challenging right now while we're at home because things are different than what they normally look like. And who knows where it'll go back to down the road. But we want to get to know you a little bit. So Lisa, tell us, are you married?
I am married to the most wonderful man, Vic, and we blended a family 8 or 9 years ago. And he is my rock. He has been so supportive through having my own business and it started up and so forth. And we just have a lot of fun together. We laugh. We have so much joy and peace in our home, and we laugh a lot. We go out and do things. Last week we went golfing, and this weekend we're going fishing together.
Awesome.
Wonderful. We blended 3 children. They're adults now. My daughter is 20, and I have 2 chosen sons. They are my chosen sons because if God had laid out all the sons in the world, in the history of the world, I would have picked these 2 boys. So they're my chosen sons.
I love that.
Yeah, one is 21 and one is just turning 18 and has his sights on college. So I got to homeschool for the past 3 weeks, our youngest son. So I really enjoyed that.
Your youngest 2, I have a 21-year-old daughter and an 18-year-old daughter, and then my oldest is 25. So that's pretty crazy.
We're right there.
Yeah.
We're going through the same things as mothers, right?
Definitely.
It's that nurturing, but we it's the letting go.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I agree completely. So what is something that you, I was trying to think, what you said you went fishing, you're going fishing this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
No masks needed when you go fishing out in the middle of the wilderness, probably.
Well, my back cast, you might want to, because you don't want the hook to get stuck, but just.
I love it. I love it. So Lisa, tell us a little bit about your career history, your journey, because I know it's evolved, and tell us how you became a coach.
Yeah, so I've spent 30 years in large corporate America. I'm talking about huge corporations like Knight Ridder newspapers and Kinko's when it was privately owned by Paul Orfalea, Kroger most recently. I also worked for the March of Dimes for a long time. And while they're not a corporation, I believe they're at 90 years old, very established, very large. So, made my way in those big organizations, loved it. I spent 15 years as a single mom. It allowed me to raise her, to have healthcare and different things like that. But, towards the end, I was really starting to feel stagnant. I felt like I was kind of asleep at the wheel. I desired something else. And I was working for a company that was number 17 on the Fortune 500 list. So, Katie, right? 17. My husband had worked for the same company for 30 years. And in the blink of an eye, They decided to go a different direction because they were looking at their bottom line and their return on investment, and they sold off our divisions.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And so I was grateful for it because it was like life pushing me and saying, you girl, you've been thinking about your own business. It's time. And even my mom, who at that time had had a stroke and she was just really phenomenally coming back from that stroke with the help of my father. I mean, they are a power team. I was visiting with her and she goes, you better get after it. It's time, right? So I really started looking at opportunities and I thought I can do a startup, right? I could do something from the ground up. I could look at areas that I was very good at, training, talent management, performance, calibration, or fundraising. And that's what people in my life were saying. You got to go with your history. You got to go with what you know, right?
We hear that a lot. I mean, as women, you work your whole time. Everyone tells you got to work for someone else. You got to do this. Exactly.
Stay in your comfort zone. Right?
Yeah.
That's called probabilities, right? You'll probably be successful if you stick with what you know, right? Well, I'm in the industry of possibilities.
I love that.
And Katie, that is where, right? Oh, the horizon opens up. Out of the blue, a woman called me from Florida and said, I saw your resume online. Have you ever considered franchising? And I said, I hadn't. And she said, what if you got to know me and I worked with you and you explored it in a really no obligation, no high pressure experience? And I love that.
Yeah.
Because she was all about me. And what ended up happening was I was like, it has to be a training company.
Ah.
Right? I kept saying it has to be a training company.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was my horizon. And she said, well, what if I told you that franchising allows you to go to business, to be in the business of business, and it's just a way to go to business. And because franchising has proven successful, it is now replicatable and you don't have to be an expert in it. Then your horizon goes like this, becomes possibilities. So she showed me, right? She did show me a training one, but I ended up going with the entrepreneur source, which is one I had not looked at.
So that is a franchise.
Yes, I am a franchise owner. And what I get to do is take that magical experience that showed me all these possibilities, and I didn't have to be an expert. All I brought was all of my great career capital. And that's something that I think women need to really invest in each other, talking to them about their career capital, thinking about the equity and the value they've built with their experiences, their skills, and that it's theirs. It goes with them. It's not a position that made you successful. It's right.
No, I think that's really key because we work, you just keep doing what you were told, you got to keep doing it. And then sometimes, as you learned and things got pulled right out from under you, you start to question, you're like, well, what degree do I have? That's the only thing people are going to know. But there's so much experience managing a family right there for anyone who's done that. That's huge. But there's so much more that I agree with you. We have to take ownership of all that other stuff too.
Absolutely. And that's why I'm excited about what you, Joy, and Phoenix have done also. And many people in our networking group, Polka Dots, they are empowering women and saying, you've got it. Let us help you. Right. And I think we need to do that as women to other women and to younger women, right? So that they become empowered. They don't feel like they are passively waiting for a job.
Right.
Someone to give them a job.
Right.
Say, you put every option on the table and you choose that job. You choose that business. You choose a startup, a franchise, even a multi-level marketing. Listen, there are so many ways to go to business and people are successful in all of them. It's just about learning about them and then, right, proactively selecting one. And that's what I get to do all day long with people across North America. I work with very self-driven women who are open-minded and tired of the uncertainties of corporate employment to really take ownership of their income, lifestyle, wealth, and equity potential because they've realized they want control. Okay? And so through my coaching practice that is complementary, but also proven and backed by 36 years of success, we clarify their goals, which is critical, and that is very counterintuitive to start with. And then we explore and discover franchising as a path. And it always leads to a point of clarity so that they can confidently take steps towards self-sufficiency. And I love it.
I love that. Yeah.
That's what I get to do.
That is so awesome. How long have you been doing this now?
I've actually been doing this for 2 years.
Oh, that is so exciting. I bet right now, what do you find is the biggest fear for women right now while they're like maybe in transition, waiting for their company to open back up or waiting, do you think people are going to take a look and go, I don't know if I want to go back to that?
Well, it is because I have been incredibly booked and busy. People are either working from home and saying, why can't I do this if I am as productive now?
Right.
And be able to set my schedule so that I do see my family more often. Or they're thinking, I like this. I don't want to go back to that toxic environment. And we actually have increased in our appointments with people that are curious about taking control of it. And we looked at this many years ago. We call it the battered career syndrome. Companies are always looking at their own bottom line and the return on investment. Well, we help people think about, well, what is your bottom line? What is your return on investment? And could you start thinking about that mindset where you're making the best choice for yourself? So I think that people very much are going to change after this. We are an entrepreneurial country. We were founded on entrepreneurialism. Entrepreneurship, excuse me. America was built on entrepreneurs, and I think about my grandparents. My paternal grandfather worked in the steel mills, and then in the 40s, in addition to working long hours in the steel mills, taught himself how to repair and maintain electronics and ran a repair business in his basement, in addition to working in the steel mills. My grandmother, paternal side, she was a seamstress. She was one of the best tailors and seamstress in the county. She ran that out of her home. My maternal grandmother was from Germany, an immigrant, and she made German delicacies, canned them, and sold them door to door. My maternal grandfather was a carpenter and a painter.
I love it.
Build houses. We have freedoms in America that many countries don't have.
Right.
And I think we're being woken up to this right now.
I think that's really key, and starting to realize maybe we need to take another look and be more in control of where that path is going to take us. I know for me, decisions were made for me. I worked in the cruise line for 20 years. And the last one I worked for went bankrupt after September 11th, personally. Mm-hmm. And that forced me to change. And it opened the door for me. You think this is not going to be good. And then the next thing you know, I'm like, okay, 18 years later, I have never been happier working for myself. And I think that's the thing. But sometimes it takes something, hopefully not a virus like this ever again, but it takes something to help us go, okay, wait, that is it. I'm done. Now I need to think about me. Carrie mentioned something here. Carrie just said, what's your bottom line? Is that what you said? What is your own personal bottom line and your return on investment? And I think that's really key. She said she just got getting depleted in the corporate world. Because how much can we give? And as women, that's just what we do, right? We give.
We think people are depending on us. And, when it comes to the current environment, and this is not true for everybody, but it was true for me, think about it. Your life is built around the job. They tell you when you work, how you work, where you work, how much you're worth working, and then how much you're deserving of a raise, right? But we keep going back to that and we think, okay, longevity is going to equal loyalty from the company. And then, look at my husband, 30 years. He got his elimination notice the year of his 30th anniversary, So, but we keep going back, which is kind of that battered career syndrome, thinking it's going to get better next time. The other thing that women have, right? AARP came out with a study last year about ageism. And of the women participating in it, it was a very large study, 64% of women said that they had seen or experienced age-related discrimination. And then we think about the glass ceiling. And I'm of the mindset that if you're in a company that has a glass ceiling, leave it and shut the door. Build your own building that doesn't even have a ceiling, and then you can go as high in income, lifestyle, wealth, and equity as you desire. No one's going to put a cap on it except for yourself.
Right? I think that's so key. That's something I've been saying for a very long time. I think it's important that we all realize that and it's not all money in cases, right? It's like that happiness level, the time with your family, whatever's important to you. If you want to not work every Friday and go off and go hiking, okay, set that. That's your work schedule and work from there. And I want to be paid for what I'm worth, what I'm really worth.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And your drive so that your effort is equal, right, to your compensation.
Yeah.
And the really neat thing and the unique differentiator about us, what the Entrepreneur Source does and what I do is that this is a safe space, right? People work with me, women work with me, and it's exploratory, it's educational, and there's a lot of discovery. So they can look at creating a life. Now, this is interesting, Katie. Creating a life that is leading them towards their goals, their needs, and their expectations. See, so long we think we have to mold ourselves to what's going on with everybody else, including our employer. But we take a counterintuitive approach. We look at what do you want out of this next season? And what are the benefits that you want? And then, right, we take a lot of time, we use time-tested coaching methodologies, and we, use different things to help them, some of them that I'm certified in. And we really crystallize a vision of a 2.0 version of themselves.
I love it.
Yeah, if you were to take all that great career capital and if you applied everything towards yourself, this you 2.0 version, what would it look like? And then after we've done that, after we've gotten a really good, what I like to call this U 2.0 version of possibilities, then we go and we look at a handful of possibilities in the franchising area that make the most sense for them. However, most of the time, it is not something they would have looked at on their own. And yeah, I mean, with 36 years of success, we found that of those that do go into empowerment through franchising, 95% went in one they didn't look at or they wouldn't have looked at. And that includes me. I went in with my coach from Florida several years ago saying it has to be training.
Isn't that funny? Yeah.
And I did. And honestly, the two, right, the ones I was really interested in had nothing to do with training. And franchising allows that for women, right? You're in the business of business. They've got a system that they've created that's proven. They've done the heavy lifting in the beginning. They failed. They succeeded. They found the right customer, the right marketing, and so forth. And so for me, I'm in operations and a people girl, and I love this. It's a car ready to be driven. And I just have to bring, the fuel that I have of my self-initiative, my drive, and, just following a good system. And that's why I'm an enthusiast of franchising for those that like it. Franchise is not for everyone. It's definitely not for a maverick, right? A maverick is more of a startup, right? Because you're shoulder to shoulder with the franchisor, right? You're in business by yourself. However, you have ongoing support and innovation for the system to keep it relevant and cutting edge, right? So, that's what we get to do. And during our journey of discovery, I create the safe space. My loyalty is to those women alone, even though we have partnerships with franchises. My ultimate loyalty and advocacy is for what's best for those women. And the other thing, Katie, is I've done it.
Right. That's huge, right? Been there, done it. I can give you my experience. And yeah.
Just like you and Joy in Phoenix, what you're doing right now, out there saying, hey, ladies, let us help you. Have you thought about it? Can we help you? Can we educate you? Can we encourage you? And so many people in Polka Dots, our networking group, just out there helping women become all they can.
Just seeing the potential. There's a question here. Cynthia said she'd love a no ceiling, quitting a job from home. What advice would you give someone who's like thinking, okay, you've got me thinking maybe there is more to this than my box that I've put myself in. What advice would you give someone to start evaluating their skills and their, where would you start someone?
Right. So if someone were to work with me, we always start with where they want to go. We start with their income, lifestyle, wealth, and equity goals. We start off with what do you want it to look like, right? And so then once we have that U 2.0 created for someone, then we go and we pull some franchises for them to learn about in an educated, very safe space manner where I'm helping them and guiding them through the pros and cons of things. But we never look at it as, you have to fit into this. We find out by talking to people in the journey of discovery. It takes people anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. However, it is self-directed and self-paced by my clients. So they can take as long as they want, or, we don't put any pressure on it since it's education-based. But when we find out what those goals are, Katie, that's where then we start to look at what franchise fits.
Right.
First of all, you have to be open-minded.
Yes. I think that's key anyway, period. You want to get out of that corporate mentality, the 9-to-5 mentality.
Yeah.
Then be open-minded to just go, okay, there are possibilities out there. There are options. And just to be able to maybe, even just let a little of that light shine in and just go, what if, just imagining. That's hard for so many people who've been 9-to-5 for years and years and years.
And I got to tell you, that's what lights a fire under me.
Yeah.
Because someone like Cynthia, right, we would find out what's important to her. If she wanted to be home-based, it's estimated that there's about 3,500 franchises in America. And there's so many ways to go to business. I wanted to be home-based, right? There's part-time ones. There are ones that have territory. There's ones that have no territory. So there's ones you can pick up and take with you. So for example, I had been in corporate America. I worked for Kroger. I worked for Knight Ridder, ones that had products like newspapers, right? Communication materials. And then obviously product and fuel with Kroger. So part of my goals was that I wanted to be home-based. I wanted to be the service. I wanted it to be me. I didn't want any inventory.
I love that. Yeah.
Didn't want peanut butter being recalled and having to go through the stores and finding everything with peanut butter in it, Katie, right? So I also wanted to build an asset over years that I could either pass as a legacy to my kids or, right, hire someone and bring them on and offer them an opportunity to be empowered and earn, right, whatever they wanted to earn without a cap on it, possibly if they were interested in buying me out, or I could sell it, earn equity and bless my family with it. But the other thing that I wanted my business to be able to be portable. Because my mom and dad were in their 80s and my mother had had a stroke. And so I wanted to be able to pick up my computer and my laptop take it with me down to be with my mom and dad. And I'm going to tell you something, Katie. My mom went into hospice last November.
Hmm.
She passed away in January. Between November, December, and January, I picked up my business. I went down to my parents' home 3 times.
Yeah.
I stayed for anywhere from 10 days to 2 weeks with them. When I wasn't running my business and connecting with clients and helping them learn about possibilities for self-sufficiency, I was by my mom. And when she passed away, I had peace of mind and so much contentment in my heart that I could be with her as often as I wanted to as time got small.
That is so key. I understand that personally completely. And that's the benefit, that you don't have to worry. Are you clocking in? Is somebody's watching my time? Do I need to actually call out of my job to go be where you need to be? Because that's what's important. We've heard people say for zillions of years, at the end, what's important, right? What's really important. You're not going to go, "Oh, I worked enough hours in my job."
No, you will not. And but corporate America tells you that you work your life
Yeah.
around us. And that's why when people first start working with me, including women, especially women, they're like, "You mean you want me to put my goals, needs, and expectations first? And we're going to look at opportunities to achieve that?" Right? So, but that's the counterintuitiveness of my coaching practice, my guidance, and helping people look at it. And I would say to people like Cynthia, get a hold of me. Let's talk. I'm a safe space to explore these things, and that's a key part. This safe space, because as soon as you feel pressure to make a decision, as our good friend Jess tells us, our brain defaults and it goes into fear.
Yeah.
And fear, we like to say, is false evidence appearing real. And the brain doesn't want to go outside of its comfort zone, right? So we keep you in a safe space of education until you reach a point of clarity. And clarity is always what's best for my clients.
I love that.
Right?
Yeah.
So I work with a great deal of people who come to clarity, right, that it's not right for them. But that's okay, because they're grateful for the experience and it put them in an empowerment stance, right?
Yeah.
And then those that do go into empowerment through franchising and owning their life, we make a decision that's based upon what they want out of life.
Right.
Right? If you're just looking at a franchise, you're buying yourself a job. Like, oh, I want this one. I have so many people that say, well, I want, let's say, something that has a building with it, but then they want to schedule themselves and have flexibility. You can't do that with a brick and mortar.
Exactly.
As an asset, right? It is a marketing tool in and of itself. But when people see it, they expect it to be open. So it dictates when you're open. Right?
I love that you look at us first. Like, what is it? What are your goals in life? Where do you want to see yourself? What is that picture looking like? And then being able to find something to bring it all in, just be open and look at some possibilities. I know for me, 18 years later, as direct sales was the choice I took. And just to be able to look at that and go, you know what? This has given me so many freedoms and still the professional income that I was needing for my family. And so there are so many options out there. I love it. I love that you are really asking those questions and helping guide women. And I think right now, this is the time. If you're stuck at home, maybe you don't have a job right now, maybe you're on furlough, maybe you're not doing the same thing, and you think maybe there's a possibility that I should evaluate what's important, where do I want to go, what do I want to do. This is the time to really take stock of who you are, where you want to be in another 5 years.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, and like I said, we've always talked about this battered career syndrome, but right now it has just been magnified by the current situations because companies are looking at their bottom line, right? So it's a good time now. And if you can keep an open mind, if you can make no decisions and stay in education mode, we get a lot done.
I love that.
In a month or so, and you really expand your opportunities. And I'll tell you, it's very trusted process. It brings you to clarity. And as I said, my client success is my only business. It's what I'm most focused on. And so they can be safe with me.
That is why we wanted you here, because just meeting you, we feel how sincere you are and how important that is. And I think that's really key right now. We want to help support other women, no matter where you are in your life, whether you're 20 years old thinking, what do I want to do with my life? Or you're 50-year-old going, oh my gosh, what did I do with my life? Wherever that is, the options are there, right? And
oh my gosh, yes. And the thing about it is that there's so many possibilities. I mean, I also work with military spouses. My mom was a military spouse for 34 years, and she was wicked smart in financing. But they moved every year and a half, right? And so she volunteered her time for families on the base. We were Air Force, and would help them with financing, investing, and taxes, and so forth. There are franchise opportunities out there for women, and a good friend of mine did this, where you have no territory, it's virtual, and you can pick it up and take it with you, and all you have to do is re-register with the state, the new state.
Yeah, so if you travel, there you go. There's options for that too. I love that.
Yeah, but you keep an open mind.
Yeah.
Right? Trust the process and stay in education mode. And it's and I think sometimes when you just start to think, I can do these things, right?
Right.
Start to look what's right for me. And just like you, Kate, I mean, you have a wonderful opportunity with your business, if someone was interested in it.
Right.
We have so many things out there, and sometimes people have preconceptions, like insurance. I don't want to be insurance. Insurance can be great. Franchising can be great. Startups can be great.
Right.
Just think.
Finding the right fit for you personally. And I know, honestly, I feel like with, like even with direct sales, I feel like, shoot, nowadays, almost every family should have one leg out there doing something else, because it gives us the balance right now. Don't put all those eggs in one basket.
And open, just think about it. I believe that they say that millionaires have 7 streams of revenue, correct? So,
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So they're out there doing things. And women.
Carrie just mentioned something here I thought was really good, because I remember hearing like the last with 2008 and everything crashed, and you have Uber and you have Lyft and all these other companies that started right when, there was a challenge. We had to come up with new alternatives, different options, and people get creative. So now's the time, I think, that's important for if anyone has questions and they want to meet with you, we'll post your link below, because we want people to be able to connect and just, like you said, be open-minded and take a look. There's so many amazing options for women right now that give us flexibility to do more, to do different, to do what we want to do. So
take ownership, right? To be the owner.
I love it. I love it. Lisa, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being on with us today. And stay tuned every Friday. We will feature another businesswoman who is doing amazing things out in the community. We want to feature you. So if you would like to join us sometime, let me know. Stay connected throughout the week. Share ideas and tips and things that you're doing in your business that are really helping to make it stronger, ideas that you have. We love it. So thank you so much.
And make sure that you get on and like Business by Design.
Exactly. Business by Design online. We're going to have a one-stop resource for all your business education, from start, growing, and support throughout the way. So thanks. You guys have an awesome Friday. Lisa, thank you so much. We will post a link below so that you can connect with Lisa anytime if you want to have a little connection.
I would love it. I would love to talk to women.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye, Kate.
Bye.